Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hopefully everything is working and sounding good. Let's see, is the stream happening? Yes, I see a stream happening. Welcome. My name is John Lemcool. Good to see you all. Oh, let's see. Oh, this is okay. Yeah, this is. So, I have some cool toys to show you guys today. To start with, I am playing a pad sound from a monophonic synthesizer. This is Pendulate. It is a free plugin from Eventide Audio, actually Newfangled Audio. And we have converted the whole set of factory patches into a new unified library. So this is a free synth you can find in the actual video description. Last night I put the URLs for everything, so you'll find the URL to go download this cool synth. Pendulate is a interesting kind of wave folding synth with a filter, an interesting modulation system for you like hold down Command, I believe, and then you can click where you want to assign a modulation source, and then you go like this to actually connect it. We have programmed it to where every one of the factory patches in Unify has the ability to be modified, fast and short to cool pads. There's effects hooked up. And a pump house. So you can tweak everything right off the bat. There's over 130 some quote factory patches. And they have just to support and promote them. Oh, this doesn't show. Oh, there it goes, upgrade. They have another synth called Generate, which is the polyphonic, more different models, all sorts of things that you can buy for, I believe it's $99. It's pretty cool. I haven't actually bought the full polyphonic synth because, well, with Unify, I can play with the monophonic synth and make it polyphonic. As you get to the end of the list, here's the Z bonus patches, and you'll see that there's plucks. If I say hard pluck, you'll see that there's the normal pluck, which is mono. I can play chords. Doesn't do anything, right? Well, the Z bonus patch version is polyphonic. And that's done because Unify has a MIDI effect called Polybox, which is able to take each note I play, let's open Polybox, reset. As I go through and play, watch, you'll see a little light. Each one of these is on a different MIDI channel for each of these 8 layers. So it's using 8 different pendulates. If I play 2, it just takes 2 of the lights at a time. See? 2 lit up. If I play 3 notes, 3 light up. If I play more than that, now I'm going to work with Shane. Shane's not here today, by the way. So welcome to you all. Good to see so many good names showing up. My goodness. Shane, his birthday is, I believe, on Wednesday. My daughter's birthday is on Tuesday. How's that for ironic? And he is, I think it's his sister, has a birthday around the same time, and so they're getting together. So he won't be here to answer questions. So if you have a question to ask me, can you do one of these things we do? I think it's ampersand. And then you say plugin guru, and you can click that and say, yo, I have a question. Like that. And that way I'll see it. So do the ampersand, and then you can tag. So that way I can see in the list of questions if you have a specific question for me. Because it's just me answering questions and doing live streaming at the same time. I don't have my co-partner answering questions in the chat. In order to get these to work, this is another unified library. This is plugin number 4 we have unified. We first did Obsession, which is a really cool OB synth from Synapse Audio. Just so you know, we're going to be doing some of the big name as unified libraries in the future. Those just take a little time to get together. Then we did Kniphonium, which is a library I was part of the voicing team for. So, that might. And then we did a promotion with Taiho and the Media Overkill people to do wave raisers. So, I could take that and combine that with some cool bass from Kniphonium, add that into a new layer. And the 4th library is Pendulate. So we could take and add one of these big guys into this. And yeah, they work so well together. Yeah, Percussive is in the process of being unified. It's actually taking us a lot of time because I'm a very picky person when it comes to this. And we're going through, oh, I'm seeing doubles. Let me see something here. If I go over here to, why am I seeing doubles of these patches? Let me see real quick what's going on. BPM split. Oh. Well, this isn't the final version. I'm not seeing duplicates there, but I am here. But we're going through, and Percussive is a library that we've done for Omnisphere, right? It's taken work to take those from the grooves and nail the grooves so they sound like the exact mix in Omnisphere, and then mapping it on the keys. We have to go through each one and transpose them down so that they all equal playing what it sounds like when you play C, because Omnisphere doesn't have no transpose. It wasn't set that way for the patches in a lot of cases. So it's taken us a lot of time to, Taylor and myself have been working for over a week on and off to get this done. But it's coming. It's just not out yet. Hopefully by next week is my target to release the Percussive library. I'll have a sale on Percussive when I release the library. For those of you that don't have Percussive, it's truly one of the tour de force libraries for Omnisphere. It takes Omnisphere farther than any other library for rhythm because it has all of these grooves that are using the arpeggiator and so forth sound design, all sorts of things to make grooves that it's just... Title says, BreakTweaker, rest in peace. Yeah. It does. So I have a question. So this is what this one patch does in Omnisphere. It goes this cool rhythmic. And I don't know the BreakTweaker thing for a fact. I'm just asking the question, if a plugin that's $200 is available for $10, does that mean it's at the end of its life? Because you can go buy BreakTweaker right now with all of the libraries. BreakTweaker expanded at pluginboutique.com for $9.99, which is crazy. And so as a result of that, doing that, I decided to do a sale on the 3 libraries for BreakTweaker we have released here at my site. So all 3, let's see if I go over here, graphic. Maybe this one I'll show. Yes, so yeah, here. So yeah, it's $9.99 for BreakTweaker expanded, which means you're getting like tons of content. It's worth it just for the wave samples, if nothing else, if you never use BreakTweaker. But BreakTweaker is a really unique, super powerful, cool rhythm plugin. And so all 3 of our libraries are available: Mega Macho drums, OMG drums, and then OMG drums urban. I'm going to show those to you here. Are available for $25 instead of $39. So I'm not doing the 95% off stuff like they do, because that's just crazy that they would do that. So it's more of a question to me of, is it rest in peace? Because when you see a plugin become $9.99 and it's never had an update since it came out 4 years ago, there's rumors of plugins not working with OS X 11. We haven't started testing on there yet with Unify, but Spectrasonics has already posted a thing saying, don't update to OS X 11 because none of Spectrasonics plugins are compatible. So I don't know if they have the code and stuff to update BreakTweaker to OS X 11. We'll find out all together, right? But when it's $9.99, that's kind of like fire sale. Like, let's just squeeze the last possible few people out there that haven't bought BreakTweaker to buy it. So I'll show you those libraries. But let's do this first real quick. So Pendulate is our 4th library to be unified, 4th plugin to be unified. What that means is that I've gone through and saved every one of the patches that come with Pendulate as a separate Unify patch with 8 knobs set up so that right? So it's a free plugin. Again, in the video, there's a description for where to go to get that. So you can download Pendulate for free. If you own Unify, this is a library of the patches. The reason we do this is because Unify has the unique ability to load its own patches into itself. So if I want to add this to this, just say load into a Unify layer. Let's add the steel drum patch. It's very easy and quick to add multiple patches into a fresh patch. And so it is a unique ability that nothing else has. Also, we have the ability to take a single patch and make it polyphonic. So I've made some pads. This is Pendulate. Well, there isn't a BreakTweaker 3. Stutter Edit 2 came out, yes, but we've not seen a single update since, like, within a month after BreakTweaker came out, they had one update to 1.01 to fix something. But after that, there's been no updates to fix the interface or all the things that were there. And I don't know anyone there, so it's not like I have inside knowledge or anything like that. I'm just asking the question. If you have a $200 plugin you're selling for $10, what does that say? To me, it kind of says fire sale. So here's some other pads. The Wave folder technology is really nice. It makes for these really rich, they're all based on sine wave for this plugin. So it does have kind of a similar tone. You don't have other waveforms to choose from. But with the Wave folder, it's very nice. The steel drum polyphonically. Not bad. But if you compare the factory steel drum, where you can't play chords, it's a lot better if you can play chords. And you could spend $100 for the Generate plugin, or you can use Unify. Okay, so this is available as a free unified library if you download the Pendulate plugin from Eventide/Newfangled Audio. Okay, so that's plugin number one I wanted to show you that's free. Later on, I'm going to show you another plugin that's free. That's an emulation of a 1988 synthesizer from Kauai. It's called the K1. And I used to sell those at a music store in Seattle just before I turned in my notice and moved to Los Angeles to start working for Korg. That was the last year of work in Seattle at a music store. And the K1v was a synth that I sold quite a few of because it was very affordable. Somebody has basically sucked out the samples, it seems, and like made a really great version of it as a plugin. So I'm going to show you that. Let's talk about BreakTweaker for a minute. BreakTweaker is a plugin. We can load it from in here. So we go to Isotope, BreakTweaker. This is the interface. We have 3 libraries: Mega Macho Drums, OMG Drums, and OMG Urban. I'll explain the 3. Mega Macho Drums is taking, at the time, this is before Super Macho Drums, where I had, I think, about 2,000 samples. I think Super Macho Drums is about 28 to 3,000 samples of drums. And I got a handful of, like, Seth Norman. There's a guy named Toby Pittman. Ryland Allison is a dear brother of mine. Let's play one of his funny ones. He's got some amazing ones in here. The Dork Knight. Now these that say EX means they're relying on the extra libraries, the expanded libraries. So if you see an EX and you don't have BreakTweaker expanded, these won't sound right. Horror movie. So this is one showing the interface that you have to scroll to see everything. This one's looping right here, whereas these are looping here. Whereas these two are looping full length but played at a slower rate. You can see the timing values here. Pretty funny. And then I made a whole bunch too. And all of these, we map them. Yes, I got it to swing. And the trick to swing is to have multiple segments. Where's the hi-hats? to get that swing was a lot of work. 16th notes, and then use tension. So you can get it to swing, even though it's not set up to easily swing. All sorts of crazy stuff. So this is with those 4 guys. The 4 of us made this library. But we're using the samples of Mega Macho drums, right? Since I got them a couple days ago. Very inspiring and highly recommended. And thanks again. Oh, you're welcome, Ariel. They're fun. Now, the layout of all 3 libraries is the same. C and C sharp. Right here is where you can play the first. We programmed the first 12 grooves right here. You see the little lights light up, right? Below that, down here at the very bottom of the keyboard, are there's a total of 6 possible sounds in a groove, right? So clicking here plays these grooves, and playing different notes, you'll see different ones work. D sharp, E, and F are fills. So we do crazy fills sometimes. We're sick. I'm not gonna apologize. I'm surprised I haven't heard that in a track. That'd be really fun. Right? Okay. Yeah, that's right. I was doing live streams back then. Gosh, I forget how long I've been doing these silly things. Hey, so the second library we do is OMG Drums, which is this one here. It has, oh wait, that's Urban. OMG's right here. And I need to hide everybody else so you can see the artwork. OMG Drums is using Nato Field's talents, Toby Pittman's talents, and myself, my talents. But we made our own samples for this library so that it's new samples. Oh, and Airwave also worked on this. Duh. I forgot to give credits to my dear brother from another mother, because he's in the artwork right here, of course, right? And then we also licensed samples which ended up in Super Macho drums from Dope VST. So we used hip hop samples, stuff like that, all sorts of things. So these are, they go tons of trance, hip hop, dubstep. The dubsteps are really cool. Right? Now these become 2 libraries in Omnisphere. Volume 1 was dubstep, trap, I believe the stuff like that. And then the second one was trance and techno and pop for volume 2, because there's so many grooves that there's no way it's so much work to make it into what it became in Omnisphere. So it became 2 different libraries. And if there's a sound that you don't want from the groove, like say you don't want the shout, just click M. C sharp is the groove without pitch elements. So whatever it is, it can be a groove. So you can play in any key, because with the sub, you're committed to that key and that kind of chord line. So the C sharp is without anything that paints it into a certain key. So I could sequence with this and then work with something else to get something else to happen, right? And if you're not familiar with BreakTweaker, how it works, let's do this. Let's go right click and say this pattern, clear this pattern so it's empty, right? So C is empty. So I can just click And then if I wanted to stop right there, then I would, how do I change my length? I think you grab this bar right here, right? So you can grab the bar if you want to do some polyrhythmic thing. Let's take the crash. Let's do something weird with the crash. Let's have it cycle at a 3 and like, and then what you can do is you can click the little waveform, and now you're into editing the sample and envelopes and filtering and stuff like that. So we could turn on the filter. Right? So we could do all sorts of things like that. If we wanted to go to enveloping, you go over to envelope 2 and you click right here on these assigners and you say envelope 2. Okay, so I've got a cool envelope on it. So now I'm going to go up here, and if I want, you can click right here to make them longer. So double click. Let's have this one play for the whole measure for the first beat. Right? Now here's where BreakTweaker gets really cool. Right down here are these parameters for type, and we have it set to division. And if I say to make it 6 divisions, it plays this 6 times. And what's cool is I can go up to 108. Tension allows it to do like the bouncing effect. Right? So I could click this one and make this one be 19. So I can make it a cool effect like that, then turn it down so it doesn't drive everybody crazy. Right? And if I wanted this to play at double speed, I could say go, that's halftime slower, but over. I could have this one be so you can do crazy stuff rhythmically. You just play another note and it's now the pattern for that note. So you just play the note that you want, make it the pattern that you want. Say I wanted to go to this cymbal, this guy here, and let's hit solo for a second. There's also parameters we can play with for each section, each one of these over here to go to effects, and you can have the velocity. So you can do all sorts of crazy stuff rhythmically that just gets into all sorts of. You play another note. So it's really fun, very creative, super easy to use as far as that goes. It just becomes a thing now to like just figure out what you want to do with what you can do with this, right? So there's trance, there's hip hop, right? So all sorts of cool grooves. And then the last one is just Nato Feels and myself doing urban grooves. This is based on more of the current styles. They're you know, like Stars is a track that was on the radio. So big subs, snappy kicks, 808s, all that kind of stuff is found in this library. So let me show you what this sounds like compared to how it turned out in Omnisphere. So let's mute this, go over here to my favorites, call up Omnisphere since it's right there in my favorite list. I should show you guys, let's do it. I'll do a tip video in a second to show you how to make your own favorites, because some of you that might be a new thing. So if we go over here to the multis, you'll notice that there are 3 different OMG drums. OMG 1 and 2 is the 2 divisions of the library that I showed you in this one library, OMG drums right here. It took 2 libraries to make it into Omnisphere. And the concept with these for OMG drums 1 and 2 is that there's a groove, kit, and then the loop. And the loop is basically the same as what it was inside of BreakTweaker for the main groove. So if we go to kick it, let's do this. So if we go over here, let's mute this for a second. If we went over to BreakTweaker and we said, go OMG drums, and where's kick it? J. I think it's in the dance. J. I'm gonna take forever to find it. Sorry. There it is. Kick it. So. And in BreakTweaker, you have the fills. You have the simple groove. You have the no snare. There's no kick version, the no snare version, or the no kick. Wait, so this one is no kick. Oh, no snare. And then there's no kick version. And then just the hi-hats. Then I usually have, like on A, the last one, and sometimes A sharp being just single hits. Right? Okay. Well, it all gets simplified for Omnisphere because Omnisphere can only play one groove, right? Oh, wait. There it is. And then what happens is, so low C plays the groove, which uses 5 or 6 of the parts. And then there's 2 other parts where I would make aces. And I need to, this is listening to tempo here. So the original tempo was 90. Let's go 90. So you have this jam, because for Omnisphere it's a synthesizer. So I wanted it to be Groove Plus. So these were the first libraries, and very few people, I don't know very many other libraries for Omnisphere that have drum samples in them. But the OMG libraries and Percussive all have drum samples inside of them. And if you go to the kick it loop, this is just the loop by itself. It transposes, so you can get all sorts of weird stuff. And then the kit means that it's the samples. So you can play it that way. But the grooves are cool in that low C plays that groove. And every one of these is different, so they go all over the place. If you go to film, here's Amped Up. I love these. This was such a fun thing to do. have orchestra hits, cool things. Right? So I don't think anybody's pushed Omnisphere into this kind of territory like I did with these libraries. And OMG Urban for Omnisphere was super cool because since the grooves were kind of basic, so I did basically the groove with the bass sound, so you could play the bass and yo. Check, one. Let's go. I want to be. I can't rap, but anyway. So the RMX version, I decided to take it farther and in like different genres. So it's not even the same as what it was. So the same drum sounds, but processed differently. Right, so super fun stuff how these turned out. They're great for Omnisphere, they're great for BreakTweaker, but they're different as you can see. The Omnisphere versions are for playing and a lot of deep programming into the parameters in Omnisphere, but there's a groove there to play with too. So, those libraries, BreakTweaker is $10. If you don't own it, buy it like right now. Let me show you this. If you go to, let me get to my samplers folder, samples, sample libraries. Up here is the BreakTweaker library. So this is where all the content is for BreakTweaker. If I open this up, hello, samples. These samples, if you go to the snare folder, there are 1041 minus 8, minus 1141 minus 8. These are samples from BT, from other DJs. They are priceless, incredible. Just the sound quality of them is incredible. And so you can get literally a complete new world of drums for $10 right now by buying that, by buying the plugin. Even if you don't use the plugin, just use the folder of samples. I mean, it's priceless sample content. So highly recommended you jump on that if you haven't. Let's see, you guys ready for seeing another synthesizer that's free? Let's see. How is the stock library in BreakTweaker? The stock library is not that great, in my opinion. I mean, some of it's great. It's just, because of my work for so many years with Korg and so forth, I'm really used to, you know, when we did the libraries, we set rules that this note's going to do a groove. These are your notes for fills. This is your no kick. This is your no snare. This is the breakdown. So every groove that we did for all three libraries follow these rules. If you go to the library for BreakTweaker and you go to Electro or something and you choose one of these, you don't know which ones are fills, which ones are grooves. The samples aren't as optimized in your face. So you play the notes, right? There's no fills yet. So you don't know where to go to get things. And that's just really frustrating for me because it's so easy to have set up parameters at the head of voicing and say, do things this way, and everybody follows rules. And that way you go to one of my libraries and you're playing it, you know for a fact, when you play D sharp, E, or F, it's a fill. You just know they're there for you to work with, and it's so much better. You know when you're gonna get a fill, right? So we voiced our libraries differently than the factory voicing, but still the samples of the factories, the groove. Herbie, good to see you, my friend. Right? So the factory grooves, there's no structure. You're gonna play different notes. And then you go to the next groove, it's different notes. Every programmer that worked on this just did whatever they felt like without any parameters set ahead of time. And it was easy for me to say, okay guys, these notes are this. C sharp is always going to be a groove. D is going to be an alternative groove, so you always have, then you play D. It takes the groove farther than the C groove. C sharp, no key, fills. Then this version has no snares, no kicks, breakdown, and then the snare hit. So you can do a groove. You can do a complete song with fills and breakdowns and all sorts of stuff with any of our grooves that we've made, because you have fills, alternatives, no kick, no snare, everything you need to do variations, so it's not just the same groove playing all the time, okay? Play some Maiden Voyage chords. Yeah, not with our friend in the room, no. Although I will say, I did a version of Maiden Voyage with Randy Jackson that we did, and I used like marching band and all sorts of stuff, and it came out, it was so cool. It was never used, but that was a really fun project many years ago. You know, like it seems like a different life. Okay, so BreakTweaker is $10. You're crazy to not take up that offer. It's Plugin Boutique. Here, I'll even give you the link because it's just crazy. Plugin Boutique. It's at the very bottom of the main page, the very last option on the left side. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, I'll give you the website. I'm not going to give you the exact link because it might change. But if you go to here, I want to hear it. Well, let me see if I can find it. I'll send it to you if I can find a mix of it, because it was so cool. It was really, really cool. Yeah, it was really fun. That's funny. So that's the website for Plugin Boutique. Just scroll down the main page. The very last thing on the left column at the bottom of the page is for the BreakTweaker Expanded for $10. And as I have shown, there's over 1,000 snare drums, 1,000 kick drums. It's a no-brainer if there was ever a no-brainer to get that. And all three of the libraries for BreakTweaker are $25 for until next week. I'll I think till the 1st. We'll do this till October 1st. I don't have an announcement on my website right now. If you like the Plugin Guru Facebook page, here, I'll show you this. If you go to the Facebook Plugin Guru page, I just posted the latest newsletter. Let's go here, go Plugin Guru. We also have a Unify Power Users group on Facebook. If you are not a part of that, I would suggest being a part of that. But right here, I mentioned the BreakTweaker thing, but right here is, Didn't I put the newsletter? I thought I put the newsletter here. Where did I put it? Did I put it to the Unify page? Oh my gosh. Skippy's losing it. Skippy's losing it. Watch out. Yeah, it's here on the Plugin Guru Power Users page. This is the newsletter. I send one out every Friday night, and it has the 3 libraries and the links. So clicking these will go to new tabs. I will show you them at the Plugin Guru website. I think I'm still, hold on, let me go over here to make sure that, don't want to be logged in. Oh, good, I'm not logged in. Okay, good. So, as you can see, they are $25 for the BreakTweaker Mega Macho drums, OMG drums, and OMG drums Urban. And BreakTweaker is such a great, its interface is great. I wish they would have updated it. Maybe they'll bring out version 2 at some point, because, you know, doing this kind of stuff, either it's an end of the life product or else they're going to do an update or something, because to let something go for $10 is just crazy, crazy, crazy. So there's those 3 libraries for BreakTweaker. We took a look at Pendulate, which is a free synthesizer that you can get from Newfangled Audio. In the video description is the link for it if you want to check that out. The last thing I had to show you before we get into tips and tricks is under here. His name is, I think, Jim. Let's see where, it's his name. So I'm going to show you a cool trick. If you have a lot of plugins like I do, and you can't remember the company names, so you're looking at this list, right? And it's like, I can't remember where that plugin is. And I got all these folders. It's like, good Lord. So check this out. If you go to the favorites, I'm going to show you how to make your own favorites in a minute. But you can go right here and you type in the name, K1v. It's Nils Schneider. So it'll tell you the name of the folder that you're going to find it in. So I can now go over here, go to Nils, N-I-L-S, Schneider. And here it is, the K1v as a free plugin. Super crappy 8-bit. The thing that's so cool, and this, we love this at the music store, Kill the Fly. That's all it does. I don't know. Stupid pet tricks, right? But there's mute guitar. Horrible. I mean, you can make some funky, messy stuff with that. That would be just, I mean, here, let's do this. Let's have fun for a minute. Has Unify been reviewed for SOS? It has not. I don't have the inroad to the SOS people. I wish it was. K1n, no, they did update it to 3264-bit because it wouldn't be working on my Mac otherwise. Nils, here, I'll give you the link. I think I put the link in the video description, but here is the page in all of its glory, the K1v. He goes into actually some pretty good detail about how he did this. But it's available in 32, oh wait, and 64-bit. Yeah, 32-bit, 64-bit. But he has some information in here about how he did this. And it's really interesting how it's, oh, we gotta accept cookies. I like cookies, so it's no problem. But this is here for you to download. It reproduces the factory patches very well. It's got the same sound. You can even hit the edit button and it has, there's no filter. It's 4 layers and you can turn on and off the layers up here. You can go to each one of the layers and choose which waveform from here, and it has all of this horrible quality, but God does it great. I mean, you know, if you took that and let's go over to, like, say, Discover Station, to the strings. Let's go to here to the strings. I got to show you some of Discover Station because this is getting just sick what we're doing. So go over here, load this as a Unify layer. So it loads up. if you mute this now, okay, it sounds great, but you need that stinky 8-bit, man. Here, let me show you something really cool. So for Discover Station, I'm making a set of rhythmic strings where, oh, you know what? This won't play because I'm not I'm not using the new version of, oh, I could update, but I don't think, no, I can't update. So I can't show you this because this is using all sorts of features that are coming in 1.2, which will be coming out hopefully October. I have just the stock 1.1.10 installed right now, and so it can't play these. But the strings, we now have inside of MIDI box a real cool parameter right here where it says transpose is now like 4 different choices, including MIDI, polyphonic transposing of a MIDI file. So you know how in the past to do MIDI file stuff, like in here, if I go Unify standard library to MIDI box and go to one of these things that's doing the, I think there's like here, MIDI box. Trying to find where, well, yeah, here's a good example, for example, where it's MIDI box is playing multiple Unify that are playing, oh, this is a drum groove one. But here's where it evolves, and it's just the MIDI file, MIDI box, but you'll notice that it takes lots of layers to get MIDI box to work. In the future, with 1.2, this all becomes just one layer. You save, you don't have to have 8 layers anymore to do. Right? MIDI box 1.2 has this ability to just say go polyphonic and it will just send out all the notes you're playing to play that MIDI file. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I don't have that feature, so I can't show you Discover Station this week. Sorry. By the way, I just released a video, and it would make so much, it means so much to me if you guys, let me go over here and show you. If you guys need to spread the word for me about Unify. I want more people to know about this. So if you get a chance, it's the video just before this one in my feed. It's called Playing 30 of 505 Unify Patches. I'm really happy it took 3 days to make this video, how it turned out. If you can share this with your friends, your circle is different than my circle. My circle's pretty saturated. You guys that come in here and hang out, you guys pretty much, most of you have Unify and you like the benefits and you tell me all the nice stuff you're doing with Unify, and it's really exciting. But I want to get more people to know about Unify. So if you can share that video, share it with your friends, because there's a lot of people that need to know about Unify, right? We got to spread the gospel of Unify. Unify our world in every way we can. So I wanted to show you about favorites. So let's cover that. Favorites is a really cool thing in Unify that allows you to group your own plugins the way you want them to be grouped. I have some presets that come with Unify. You'll notice if you say initialize, and if you click in this little bullet, right here in the middle is the favorite area where it displays favorites as they are currently set. And I made an all with all the plugins that I have. You have that, but you might have more plugins or different plugins than I have. So if you want, I'm going to show you how to set up favorites. So you go over here, you hit the little, right here, it looks like text entry documents. That's the favorites area. And what this gives you is right here, you can click to choose instruments, audio effects, or MIDI effects. MIDI effects are one of those things that don't show up unless you make them into a favorites list, just because they're registered, as you can see over here, as an instrument, INST. So MIDI effects are not known and put into their own category. It's one of those things I hope we can be a part of changing the spec of MIDI effects in the future so that MIDI effects get their own category, because they're currently grouped into instruments. So if you go over here and, like, before we get to company, if you click the favorites, this lists all the favorites that I have made my favorites. What you should maybe do is select all and remove them and then make your own favorites, or go down the list and go, Skippy likes this. Really? I don't like that. Hit remove selected. Just hit save when you're ready and it will save. This way, when what the favorites is for is that when I go over here to my favorites, the plugins that I need to access, that I access all the time, are right here. Instead of, I have like 600 plugins currently loaded on this computer. So for me to find them from this list, it's easier than the default list where everything's by categories, by company folders and stuff like that. At least by all, it's alphabetical without folders. And then you can also do company. So this lets me see all the Arturia, or all the Korg, or all the Roland, or all the Synapse audio as a separate column. All you have to do is say you're on instruments, say I wanted to add my own company. So let's add a new folder into here. So it adds it. Actually, no, I don't even need a folder. So I say delete folder right here and just say new subset, and then go to the new subset. Let's rename this Spectrasonics. Okay. So now I have a folder named Spectrasonics. As I click that, it shows up over here and says Spectrasonics. So now I can say Spectrasonics, and there are Spectrasonics plugins, because we search everything in the text information. Select all, go over here and say add selected. It adds those, save. Now when I close and I go over here to my company list, here's Spectrasonics, and here's those that I added to that. So you can make your own favorites for whatever categories. When I go to audio effects, I have all my compressors, delays, EQ, reverb as separate things, because if you look at how many reverbs you own and you go down the list, you're going to see names of reverbs you forgot you bought or that you've installed. So it's really, oh, PSP piano verb. Oh, that's so cool. I love how that works. You'll see things that you forgot. And remember, if you're doing something like delay, that some delays are not, you can go up here and say delay, and you'll get a lot of the delays that you have in your list. But if you look over here, some of these don't have, like, one for sure is Echo Boy. That's not a delay. There's no delay in the name for Echo Boy. Crystallizer is another one from Sound Toys. That's a delay, but it doesn't say delay anywhere in the name. So make sure you remember the things that you have, like Valhalla Freak Echo can do delay type things. Actually, it's not really supposed to be here. So I could say, select this, remove selected, save. So you can modify these categories for MIDI effects, audio effects, and instruments to have just the plugins you want to have quick access to. If you're trying to do a live show and you don't want to have like this endless list of plugins in your face that you have to navigate, just make a small list. And that way you just click this, you can go my favorites, and boom, I can be loading something and playing with it right away, okay? So there's presets that come with this, say all, but you might own more than that. So if you want, go over here to all, and you can say VST/instrument, and that's the categorizing of instruments versus effect is effect. Now, if I select all, this includes instruments and MIDI effects. So I'd have to go down this list and make sure that I went to something like Blue ARP. I know I don't want that to be there. So I'd click, or actually I'd say select all, and then I think you hold down Command or Option or Control. One of the buttons will let you select from the group, and you have to go down the list. Numerology, Cream is another MIDI effect. You'd want to go down the list and deselect either that, or you could just say add selected, so it makes them to the list, and then go over here and then remove to go through. But that way you can make a more accurate all list that has all your plugins, because I might not have installed the plugins that you own. So there are some plugins that I'm sure you have, I don't have. The way it works, if you don't own Babylon, it won't show up in this list, but if you installed Babylon, all of a sudden it would show up in the list because it's one of the things in the all instruments list. So I installed as many plugins as I could to get them to work and get everything happening and stuff like that. But they might be different than you have. So make sure you realize this favorites area is here for you to set up to your system, okay? And so it's a really cool ability that we have just to help you get your plugins better under control, okay? Made a nice little video about Unify today. Oh, great. I'm going to take a look at that, Will. Thank you. Let me go. It wasn't available for Mac OS 64-bit. Let's see. What is the link? The link, if we're talking about K1M, here, I'll put it into the chat. K1v. It's this guy in Germany, Niels Schneider. That's the link I put into our chat just now for downloading the K1v. Okay. The K1v, do you just drag the component file into the... yeah. Now, remember, a lot of you guys like to use audio unit and VST versions of plugins. Just remember, any of the libraries that are supported that you see in this list are using the VST version. And so if you install Pendulate, right? You install the Unify version, but when you go down the list to Pendulate, say and I gotta scroll for a while here because I have way too many plugins in here. But when I get to Pendulate, right here, you'll see it says VST right here, right? If you have VST3 or audio unit, then you need to modify because the patches won't load. It will say error finding the plugin. So what you do, you go to the VST plugin and say Pendulate, P-E-N-D. Why is it not showing up in the list? Because I installed it. Oh, is it Newfangled Audio? I think they have a folder. So let's go. Oh, Newfangled Audio. Yes. So all you have to do to get a single plugin to load into Unify is click it and drag it over the interface of Unify, and that will install it. Or you can go Options and say Select Plugin File to Scan, and now you can navigate to your VST folder and find it that way. Select it, say Open, and it will immediately make it available. Yeah, so that would be how you would get the plugin into Unify. If you're going to be looking at the unified libraries, Unify has to have access to the VST version. It won't work if you're doing the VST3 or the audio unit version. Okay. Yeah, the database organization is important because the whole idea with Unify is to be helpful in 2020 with all of us in our productions. And right now we have so many plugins, it kills my head to try to remember what delays I have, right? And if I go to something, let's go to a drum kit, like drum kit. Say we go to just the pop, super pop. Okay, there's a delay that I love. And so I go to my effect types to delays. Here's the list. Object delay is so cool. This is from Applied. It's wave. I guess it would be physical modeling. It's delays, but you can get these really, really cool harmonics, you know. That's interesting. So you can get sounds that with this delay that is not just an echo of your delay, but something. really unique. And it has an LFO. It's got some very cool abilities inside of it. So like if I wanted to play with this on an auxiliary bus, because I want to add reverb to it. So I'd go Operations, Copy Plugin State. So now I can hold down Option and get rid of that. And let's put this here. So we go back to Effect Type, Delays, Object Delay. And now all I have to do is go to the little bullet and I can say Operations, Paste, Plugin State, and now I have it on an auxiliary bus instead of an insert effect, so I can do things like reverb and so forth. Change my... Make sure my mixer is 100%. And then I can do whatever I want to it because now it's an auxiliary bus and you can... Oh, I see, that's history. I wish I had... Oh, there we go. That's right. You can... Now you can... So let's do this. Let's turn on MIDI box to play groove. So you can get really cool alternative delays. Another delay that's really cool is to go Effect Type Delays. Crystallizer is super fun for just weird stuff that you want to have. It can do some pitch shifting kind of things. So if you need weird, cool stuff, crazy stuff. So it's cool to have your effects in a list so you can go effects, delays. What do I have to play with? Oh, I forgot. I really love, let's see, do I have? So I don't have the Korg Universal Audio Delay, which is a favorite of mine. So let's add that to my delays. So I'm going to go Audio Effects, Delays, Korg, and then down at the bottom it will say UAD Korg SDD 3000. Add this to my list and save. So now when I go to my delay list, go to Effect Types, Delays, Korg SDD 3000. This is like the 80s dirty delay. It's got the pitch shifting, the LFO with pitch and the delay. One cool thing with UAD effects, by the way, if you didn't know this, is if you click the little bullet, you can go to the program list and it lists all the programs. So you can... That 80s Tears for Fears right there. And now, since it's on an auxiliary bus, you always want to make sure your mix is, let's see, intensity, frequency, wet. So there. So it's always 100% because it needs to be 100% since it's playing along with the dry signal on its own auxiliary chain. Let's say... Got that. It's great. So you can see it's really cool to have access to your plugins in an organized way. So you can go reverbs, that piano verb I was telling you about. Let's go down here and find that. That's PSP piano verb. Now each... This gets really cool if you tune the pitch down. It's messy with this delay doing what it's doing. So let's see. Let's go over here. What's my timing at? And sync. And in a case like this, because the delay is at 100%, I can bring down the mix of the reverb just to be a little bit on the tips of the delay, because I have the delay ahead of it doing only effect. So as long as you have it so you don't have, otherwise you'll get where you get flamming and doubling of the notes and it gets louder than it should be and stuff like that. So auxiliary buses are really cool for this thing. The other cool thing with auxiliary bus is you can none, have it hit, and then bring the mix back down really quick. It's really easy to go over here to your knobs. Let's say, what's a knob I could play with? Okay, so this one's doing amp decay right now. So let's go to the linked parameters and say, nope, you're not gonna do that. So it's not doing anything for knob 3. So when I move this, it's gonna move the slider. And I can go over here to instrument, to auxiliary, actually, to effect. No, I want to go to instrument, so I want to change the auxiliary bus. So go here to auxiliary send 1. So now I have on a slider so that I can just call it up when I want to have a little splash. You know, you might, let's do this. Let's bypass this with just the reverb. So you can bring it up, have it hit. When you bring the mix level back down, it still is ringing out the reverb, which is really nice compared to putting it as an insert effect where it just goes away, right? If I was to have this reverb, let's say copy this effect, right? Copy the plugin state, and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to effect type, delays, PSP. Oh wait, this is reverb, PSP. It kind of does delay too, doesn't it? So PSP piano verb, go to the little bullet, say operations, paste. So now I have, see how it sucks away? Because the mix is right here and it's active real time. So if you want this effect, maybe you want that. So we could assign that to the same knob. So let's go back to our knob assignments, link parameters. Oh, this is 2. We want to go to 3. If I want to quickly get to that list, instead of going to link parameters, just option and click and say I want to add a new, go to instrument, super pop. This is the effect on that layer, PSP piano verb, and here's all the effects. So I go to mix, and now I have access with that same knob to playing it that way if I want. So, and you could even actually have it set up so you have both the auxiliary bus and the reverb on there happening at the same time, so that, and then turn this auxiliary up louder so that we hear it ring out. Now, in a case like this, I'm adding reverb to the mix, and what happens to my output level? It's already pretty hot, right? Yeah, I've heard of smart reverb. So we're gonna add one more option, click. I'm gonna add so that the master output level drops just a little bit, and I wanna give it a nice strong curve so you only hear it at the very end when it gets really loud, so that when I have this playing and this all the way up, here, I can do this in real time and I can actually hear the result. That's one of the cool things with Unify. Nothing current, I don't know anything that can do this. I can see my results on the level meters right here. So I could say the max you're going to get to is that. And I actually should turn down this as well. So option click. Let's also go to the auxiliary to its mix level and have it also come down. So it's not distorting at the same time. We'll give it a bit of a curve. So now I have the reverb, so it's real time, but I'm not distorting. It's close, but I mean, I could turn this down a little bit. Since this isn't being modified, I could set this as my master. Right? So you can use the controls that we have to change effect parameters and the mix level parameters so that you can make so that if you add extra things to the mix with the knob or a real-time controller, you might need to control the volume of the actual levels of the layers as well so that you don't distort. So keep an eye on your output levels. Okay? Hey, any questions? Because Shane is not here today to answer text questions as we go along. So if you have questions, ask and I will try to answer them. How many effects can you add to just one instrument? It's limitless. Currently, the interface will get a little funky because you can actually get to where you can't see the the list. You need to have a really big monitor and stuff like that. But we're working on a solution for stuff like this so that you can add as many insert effects as you want. You can change the order by clicking and dragging to change the order of them around if you want. It's pretty cool. But if this is shrunk to being fairly small, as you will see, you've lost access to even seeing the parameters. So you just need to like close the browse window, do whatever you can to give yourself more real estate to there, make it so you can see the effects. But there is no limit. We don't have any. Maybe there's like a limit, like 25. I don't know. I don't know if Shane put a limit in there. We put a limit for the number of instrument layers at 24, which you can actually go into the system preference file and change if you ever need more than 24. And I haven't played with Smart Reverb. Or did I? Let me see. Let's find out. Smart. Nope. It's not there. Don't have it. It's nice to also just to be able to do that to check to see if you've installed something yet. Because at some points it's like, oh my gosh, I've already installed that. Inland Israel edits in real time. Yeah. I like that. I would like to see a Herbie Hancock library of Unify in the future. Hey, Herbie, let's do a library, man. Okay, so the last thing to talk about for the last 10 minutes, dragging and changing order. Yeah. Also, you can do that for the layers of a patch. You can change the order of effects, but you can also now, with Unify 1.1.10, change, like if you go to something more complex, let's go to, like, I've got favorites because I did this video, so I can click there and say, load this up. Well, that's not really a good one, but Voices in the Sanctuary. If I want to have the sine wave at the top of the list, I can do that to change the order, so now it's at the top. Yeah. Cool. So we are gonna do, I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out, but I would like to see if you guys want to do a Halloween library for Unify. I have, let me see, I'm gonna see if I have system audio working. I might not have system audio working, but we'll find out. Let's see here, go here and say mine. Kendall Cochran, the one and only super converter who has been gracious to do many of these saving of libraries. Notice Del Norte is coming pretty soon too into Unify format, which is cool. He works in a mine and works for multiple day shifts at a time. He has, do you have some tips for the order of types of effects? Like, oh, well, yeah, Lyle, we'll talk about that for a minute. Anyway, let me see something. I'm going to go over here to OBS, see if you hear these. If I play this and... Nope. So let me go to Loop Back, the best program on the planet. I love this program because it lets me route all the audio into Soundflower and Universal Audio and all that stuff. I can go here and say Finder. And so just by doing that, I think now, let's see if I... Oh, no, it's still not showing up. Finder, system preferences, sound output, Soundflower. Let's see if that works. You guys hear that, right? I don't hear it. If I go over here, maybe I could do the preferences for multi-output, which is a aggregate that does both. So if I go like this, okay, we're gonna do this a different way because screw this. I've got another way we can do this. So I'm going to make an EXS20. This is a wonderful thing. Use your DAW as a tool sometimes when you need to do stuff like this. So if I open up ESX24, hit edit, I can now go to the Finder, select all of these sounds and drag them in and say chromatically starting at, let's say F0 just to be safe. There. So as he worked in the mine, he's recorded these incredibly great sounding hits and stuff. And he's given me permission to include these. I mean, look at all these. And the names are cool. You know, this is metal sign whack with reverb wash. Moving bucket around. So I'm going to include a lot, not all of these, but a lot of these in a Boo, I don't know what to call it yet, but Unify Boo library. We're gonna do a cool, scary library. If you want to contribute to this, we're in the sample accumulation stage. Oh, let me show you something. 1 second. This is from Leaf Audio. It's a microphone sound box. And I have been saving it for this time of year. So this week, I'm going to be sampling this. It's a really cool box. Can you guys see this? That has things to hit and strike. I have a violin bow for scraping on it. It's got outputs, inputs. So I'm going to be making some spooky sounds with this. Make spooky sounds, creaks, cracky things, synthesizer sounds that are broken like they're from like bad cassette tape. If you want to do stuff like that, we'll put it all together probably in 2 weeks. and then give you guys a week or two to make MIDI files, patches, and get them to me so that we can make our own Boo library that we'll release to everybody for free. Okay? Isn't that cool? So that's pretty exciting. Now, as to effects and orders, that's a huge category unto itself, man. I'll tell you, there's so many channels on YouTube talking about that type of stuff. It really depends on what you want to do. Just think about what you're trying to do, kind of a thing. Let's call up, say, a drum groove. Let's do one fun from Cloud City, for example, and say Cloud City. I don't have anything favorited, so it's not showing anything. Go here to the drums and let's choose like a halftime. So, no, this might be a separate category or a separate day to spend on this stuff, but here's an example where I have filter max after a reverb, and I have a high pass on it. Now, what if I change the order? This means that the filter max is happening before the reverb. And so I can change the character of the sound. But I'm not changing the reverb, that wash, that sustaining out. So, what version do you want? Do you want it to be more drastic and where it changes everything? That's why you put an effect before or after the effect. Do you want what's coming after it to change what's before it? Because it's a train in most cases, right? It's this compressor is going here. Do you want to EQ the compressor, or are you trying to EQ the sound before it hits the compressor so the compressor reacts in a certain way? That's really why you decide the order of effects. It's like cause and effect. Now that I've put this reverb, this filter after the reverb, now I can go to this. And in the case of Unify, if we go to the knobs, there's a high pass filter set up, right? Option, click. So it's set for high pass, but check this out. Let's go to that auxiliary to this and go to the effect for the filter and also do the filter Q. And you can do some really cool stuff. And I'll probably have to bring this down after it gets up to a certain point. Yeah, it's not working the way I expect. What's going on? Oh. My filter 2. I guess I want my Q to be really strong here. And then keep getting strong. And the high pass. Oh, this is to effect 1, effect 2. Oh, I've changed the order. I want it to be... why isn't it changing? It should be changing that, but it's not. So let's reconnect it in case something got messed up. Effect, filter max, filter frequency. So, there. So I'm going to bring my Q up to a certain point. And once it gets to here, I do need to bring it down a little bit. And sometimes you want the filter to sit down. Because with a high pass filter, it has a place where the filter can sit. And you can use this as a really cool trick. If you have resonance on a high pass filter, hear the low end? If you have good speakers, Like my 64 audio 18 driver in-ear monitors are kick-ass. So I hear exactly that frequency. Right? Maybe you don't want that because you're going to have bass and other stuff. So go below that or above it and just bring down the Q for this area here. So just say, right? So effect order all depends on what cause and effect you want to be the result of the effect order. If I put a certain reverb, like water verb has a chorusing effect built into it. So I like to put it after a delay because it then is going to be doing all sorts of chorusing things to the taps of the delay. If you change the order, you'll notice that the water verb is doing this nice chorusy thing, but the delays are straight. They're not being processed by the water verb. So the order is all just up to what cause effect you want to do, right? Cool. I'm going over. Yes, I'm 4 minutes over. Is Melanie here? Oh, that's sweet. She's here. Hi, sweetie. All right. I'll bet there's some great impulses from the mind. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff there. Well, I think last week I went 2 hours. It was like a record. When you add an effect and when it highlights red and does not work, that typically would mean that it's being overdriven. When you say red, are you talking about the signals? If the signals are in the red, then just turn down like the auxiliary send or the mix of the effect so that it's not 100% maybe. I don't know what effect you're talking about, but it shouldn't be in the red. Anything that goes to the red either means your CPU is working too hard or that the level is being overdriven. Both are effects you really don't want. So, getting back here. That's my girl. Hey, one last thing to show you guys. Check this out. I am really happy this week. I finally got my own Korg wave state. I worked on this. My voicing plugin guru samples are inside of this synthesizer. So I can set it like this so you can see it. And if you like the Iceland piano, that's a patch of mine. Or over here's another patch called Dance Like Skippy. And those are a lot of the same samples inside of the wave state that Korg licensed from me are inside of Unify, which is pretty cool. I'll probably do a video at some point, like going through the wave state more. Its interface is very challenging to use. So cool. Right, so I just wanted to show it for a minute. It's really fun. I worked on this early this year and it's been really cool. They've been sold out, and so they haven't been able to send one to me. They promised they would send one, and this week came in. So it's very nice synth. It's small. I'm surprised how lightweight it is. It weighs like nothing. Yeah, we'll see. I usually don't talk a lot about the voicing projects because there's lots of secret stuff in there. Boy, to have my girlfriend and Herbie Hancock and all of my friends all here, you guys, it's awesome. Okay, so let's do our shout outs. We have come to the end of the day. I hope this was helpful to you. Also, I want to point out a really killer library from the ESC is still available at my website for $29. The ESC Neutronics library of Behringer, I say Behringer, but I guess it's Behringer. Plugin Guru, Neutronics. This library is a very fun library with a lot of very complicated, cool, deep programming for Omnisphere. It's on sale for $29 still until October 1st, and it's great. There's so many fun, different things, some killer pads. It's a whole different personality than what I do in programming, which is why it's so cool to have different personalities. Right? So cool stuff. Say go over here and add this as a layer. Cool. So make sure that if you need new sounds for Omnisphere, and they also show up as Unify patches, that you can call them up within Unify and layer them and add things together to quickly get all sorts of interesting. Right? So that is available and on sale. The 3 libraries for BreakTweaker at my website, OMG Drums, Mega Macho Drums, and OMG Drums Urban. Those 3 libraries are $25 until October 1st as well. Yay. And let's do shout outs. Where's everybody at today? Shout out from Camino Idol, Washington. Cool. My pleasure, Ken. Good to see you. Shout out from Clean Skies PDX. It's so nice. The air here is clear. From Springfield. Oh my gosh. Good to see you, Dwight. Robin up in Austin, Texas. Germany. Atlanta, Georgia. Liverpool. You guys are all around the world. Kendall, thank you again for all your work. He also just did Radio Ready. So that will be a library we'll be getting ready to release for Unify. That's a fun one because that's setting up Unify on multiple MIDI channels to do music. So you just call up one of these multis. It's all set to start writing music. So we'll be getting that out for Unify. Scotland. Mark, you're in Scotland? Oh my gosh. That's one place I want to take my camera one of these days. Go do some photography. Would be great to get out to the woods. There's a couple of photographers I follow on YouTube that are from Scotland. They go to the lakes region and they go up into the forests, and it's beautiful up there. And sunny in France. I want to go there too. Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this stream. Thank you as always for your support. Please, if you don't mind spreading the word on Unify anywhere you can, share that video. Say this is the best $70 plugin you can buy. And have people being able to watch the video, because in the video I show how easy it is to start with patches and immediately add things to them to do all sorts of really cool things. So I'm gonna do one. I started with this in the video. And the fun thing is, anytime you see the name drone in the factory patches, what that means is there's a patch set up to drone the same pitch. Wherever I play on the keyboard, see? And then there's another piano right below it on layer 2 that's not droning. So you can do really cool things. And then I have a DX7 on the third layer from DX. And then it's super easy to go over here, go to chord dance, say load this into Unify as a new layer, and now and I go to BPM kick, say add this, and I want to have a BPM snare, so I could go over here to snare, add this, no pitch. Right? And I want to turn off, I forgot to turn this off so I can go. And then in the video, I actually show going in and replacing the piano with Noir from Native Instruments' contacts libraries, which is really fun. But this kind of power, to start from the factory, just everybody needs to be able to do this because it's so fun. So being able to load its patches into itself really pushes Unify into rare air for me, and I want other people to know about it. So spread the word. Fab filter, we'll look at those. Send an email to unifysupport@pluginguru.com, and when the new Unify, will the current libraries need to be reunified? No, because I'm using the parameters and the abilities of the library. I probably won't go in and do too much changing to the libraries. I don't expect doing that. It saves some resources to have it so it's just one Unify layer instead of multiple to play chords. But I don't know. We'll see if that needs to be done or not. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is a Korg M3. It's the one that I did voicing for the M3 on. It has died, actually. It's inoperable. I don't have a camera that I could get loose, but the screen, the touch screen doesn't work anymore. The knobs still work for real-time controls if I want to use it that way, but the action, I just love the action. I had a Native Instruments keyboard up here for a while, if you recall, and I already beat that keyboard up to where it's not feeling very good. It's noisier. The keys just don't feel as solid. Thanks. Maybe I need to rescan within Unify. That could be possible. Do this. If you have plugins that aren't showing up inside of Unify, then definitely go over, find your VST plugin list, go to the known plugin page right here, and take the effect and drag it in, and then close and see if it shows up. Because Fab filters, I believe they do work. I think I have, if I go over here to Fab filter, I have all of theirs working and they work just fine. It's working as we speak. So yeah, sorry if it's not working for you though. So hopefully you can get that to work. Okay. Well, thank you for hanging and being the good Guru Nation you are. Make cool samples, scary samples, broken synth samples, whatever you want to come up with. I can loop stuff here. If you don't have to loop it, you can send it to me, and if it needs to be looped, I can do that for you guys. But send source to Unify support at pluginguru.com. And please be aware this will be shared. It might become a part of a library that I'll charge like $15 for in the future to cover the cost of licensing and all that stuff to protect it. But for right now, you guys are going to get it in the raw wave version. Okay? And we will see you next week. If you have ideas or questions for a live stream, if you want some topic covered next week, let me know. Happy to consider doing stuff like that, okay? Oh, nice. Yeah, that was of no help. So, all right, I'll see you guys later. Be well.